Ever feel like you're drowning in like to-dos?
Mhm.
I mean, between the overflowing inbox, like the endless notifications, and like the constant pressure to do more faster. Sometimes I just like want to chuck my phone into the nearest black hole and like call it a day.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. It's like we're all trying to drink from a fire hose of information and tasks.
Right. Exactly. That's why I'm really excited about this deep dive we're doing today. We're taking a look at this Forbes article called Maximize Your Time Management, 4 Tips Using AI Tools and Automation.
Hmm.
And it's like, got me thinking, what if instead of adding to the digital chaos, AI could actually be the key to like taming it?
That's a really interesting question. And I think this article hits on some key points. It mentions that a staggering 83% of U.S. workers, they experience daily work stress, with 39% blaming it on their workload. So there's definitely a need for solutions. And AI might be like a powerful one.
Okay, so let's dive into like the specifics. So the
Yeah.
article talks about this whole AI time management revolution. What exactly does that mean?
Well, think about how we've traditionally used AI. Things like writing emails or summarizing documents. Now we're seeing a new wave of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. And these are like stepping up their game. They're not just creating content, they're actually helping us manage our time more effectively.
So it's not just about working faster,
Yeah.
but also about working smarter, right?
Hmm.
I'm all for anything that can help me be more intentional with my time and energy.
Absolutely. And the article highlights several areas where AI is making a real difference, starting with smart scheduling. Imagine having an AI assistant that can analyze your calendar, commitments, and even your work habits to suggest the optimal times for meetings, focused work,
Right.
and even breaks.
Wait, hold up. An AI that tells me when to take a break? That's a dream come true. But seriously, I'm curious about how this actually works in practice. The article mentioned a couple of apps, Calendly and Google Appointments, which I've used for basic scheduling. But then there's this other one called Sunsama. Have you ever used that?
I have. And what's interesting about Sansoma is that it goes beyond just scheduling appointments. It actually helps you plan your entire day by prompting you to block out time for your most important tasks, incorporate breaks, and even build in buffer periods between meetings to avoid that constant feeling of like rushing from one thing to the next.
That buffer period idea is genius. I'm always feeling like I need a moment to like decompress between meetings.
Yeah.
But it rarely happens. It sounds like Sunsama is really tapping into the underlying principle of being more intentional with how we allocate our time, which is something we could all benefit from.
I agree. And the article's author, Luciana Palis, who's a career coach, really emphasizes that balance. It's not about letting AI take over our lives, but rather about using it strategically to enhance our productivity and well-being.
Okay, so smart scheduling is like one piece of the puzzle. The article also talked about automation. And this is where I really started to get excited. I mean, who wouldn't want to like offload all those tedious, low-value tasks to an AI?
Yeah, it's definitely a game changer. Think about all those hours we spend sorting emails, entering data, scheduling appointments. What if we could free up that time
Hmm.
to focus on the work that actually requires our unique human skills?
Right. And the article had some like really compelling examples of how this is already happening. They mentioned Zapier, which can connect different apps and automate tasks.
Yeah.
So for instance, you could set it up so that a new email from a specific client automatically creates a task on your to-do list, adds it to your calendar, and even triggers a do not disturb mode on Slack.
Exactly. And that's just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
The article also talked about AI being used for things like customer support, supply chain optimization, and even summarizing books. There's this tool called Notebook LM, and it can condense a whole book into key takeaways, which is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Okay, that's it. I'm adding Notebook LM to my must-have list right now. But seriously, all this talk about automation is making me wonder, are we on the verge of some kind of productivity utopia where AI handles all the drudgery and we get to focus on like the fun, creative stuff?
It's certainly an intriguing possibility, but it also raises some important questions about the future of work and what it means to be productive. But before we dive into that rabbit hole, I think it's important to touch on another key area where AI is impacting time management, workload management.
Workload management, you mean like how much work we take on and how we prioritize it? Because honestly, that's where I struggle the most. I always feel like I'm juggling a million things at once,
Right.
and it's hard to know where to even start.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of being overwhelmed by their workload. And that's where AI can be incredibly helpful. Imagine tools that can analyze your tasks, deadlines, calendar, and even your work habits to suggest priorities. and help you make more strategic decisions about how you spend your time.
So it's not just about getting things done faster, but also about making smarter decisions about what actually needs to be done.
Exactly. The article gives the example of Time Hero, an AI-powered platform that does just that. It helps you move from feeling overwhelmed to making data-driven decisions about your workload, which is a much more empowering